New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time Show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about a Knicks win. 5-game winning streak for these New York Knicks. Gunshots for these Knicks win because the Knicks beat the Chicago Bulls 128 to 120. RJ Barrett fouls out, but it's okay. RJ Barrett, the wrestlers who gauged it today, he gave you 22 points and 6 rebounds, shot 47% from the field. Shout out to RJ Barrett. JR, Julius Randle came with 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists on the night. Jalen Brunson, clutch play, gives you 30 points and 7 assists on a bad leg, on a bad foot. It didn't matter. Brunson came to play. My son, the dirty, the gritty Quentin Grimes gives you 14 points. Clutch 3 after clutch 3 plus the lockdown D. Gunshots for my son Quentin Grimes. Quickly chips in with 9 points. Juice McBride even hits a couple of threes to make things interesting. The Knicks hold the Bulls to 1 field goal in overtime and take home the win. 5 games in a row, guys. 5 games in a row. When's the last time 5 games in a row happened for these Knicks? Today.
Year and a half ago.
How long?
Year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago. It was a year and a half ago, and we did it again today. And we're going to talk about it all. Before we talk about it, hit that like button first of all. Hit that subscribe button first of all. And also shout out to Fubo TV. Fubo TV is where you watch the Knicks for free for 7 days. If you go to FuboTV.com/KOT, you get the Knicks for free on MSG for 7 days. If you decide to buy it, we get a little bit of piece of that, and you get to enjoy your Fubo TV and your other sports channels and cable channels and things of that nature. So shout out to Fubo TV. Now let me introduce you to my guys. First and foremost, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. 5-game winning streak. Let's go, Knicks.
Let's go. And of course, you already know who this is. It is the Latin assassin, Mr. ESPN contributor, Mr. Posted and Toasting contributor, Mr. Deadspin contributor, and KOT contributor, my man, Lee Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
I got nothing bad to say today, baby. Let's go, Knicks, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited, man. Feels good.
Game winning streak. It feels good. Yeah. Well, this was an interesting win, guys. It was a gritty win, and it's a win where we didn't really perform defensively like I wanted to. We had some lapses. I thought Valanciunas got to, he got to some of his spots. I felt like he actually took advantage of Mitch Robinson a little bit in the beginning with his speed and with his posting. But in the end, the Knicks showed the grit. The Knicks got the stops. Jalen Brunson, hold on, let me put respect on his name. Top 5 clutch players in the NBA. Jalen Brunson, along with Julius Randle, came in and sealed the deal. Lee, I'm gonna let you start it off since you haven't been here for a minute. What did you think of this game? What did you see? Why do you think we won?
I want to give a shout out to Roberto Rivera Jr. I see his daughter's listening for the first time. What's up, Juliana? Much love from the Knick of Time Show. We want to give you a huge salute and a shout out to Juliana.
Yes.
So tonight was a great win. Sorry I've been out, man. Been hanging out with the family for these holiday vibes. Glad to be back with the boys, talking some Knicks. Glad to catch up on a 5-game win streak. It's been looking good. I was very impressed with Julius Randle. I mean, the stat line was impressive. The dude is balling out right now. He has been balling out for the last month and a half. I'm not going to lie. I'm still on a sell high train, but I'm not going to hate on him. The dude's effort, his energy, his body language, everything is everything you could possibly want as a Knicks fan to watch from who is our best player at this point, statistically, and I think overall in the game. Not the clutchest, but the best. His defensive effort, I thought, was pretty solid tonight. Had a few miscues in the fourth quarter, a really bad three-point shot there at the end of the fourth, and didn't play all that well in the fourth quarter offensively. But, man, Tiz was playing that same play over and over again in the second half. Him at the top right corner by the free throw line, he would catch it, ISO, draw defenders, kick out, catch it, ISO, draw defenders, throw it up, usually for an and one. So, Randle, I thought, was pretty efficient offensively tonight. And this is my favorite RJ Barrett game of the season. He didn't play phenomenal, but I really liked his defense. I liked his body language. I thought he finished around the rim really well, and he finally hit his three-point shot, which really opened up the offense for everybody else. I think Randle was able to cook on switches with Alex Caruso on him, a little small guy, because that secondary defender could not get off of RJ and Grimes on a three-point line, which really opened things up for Brunson to create as well, and pick and roll and get into the basket and find the open shooter. When RJ's on fire from three, it really helps everybody on the offensive side. And, man, Jalen Brunson, we got a point guard, y'all. Like, this dude is clutch.
We got a point guard.
Ice-cold veins. And I love his steady, calm, cool personality. I think it meshes really well with Julius Randle, who's a little more vocal, a little more emotional. Yeah, it's a really nice complementary pair. And I think they're starting to gel together more than they were in the first couple of weeks of the season. And I'm just really happy to have someone out there whose name is not Alec Burks, not Elfrid Payton, none of these bums masquerading as a point guard. Jalen Brunson is him, and I'm happy to have him on the team.
Jalen Brunson is him. I loved it. I loved it all. I love the way like I said, for a period, for 3 quarters anyway, all 3 of those guys, Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, all were shooting well percentage-wise for like 3 quarters. And I felt like was starting to feed off each other a little bit well. Now, granted, there were some places in the offense where it stalled a little bit too much for me. But for a stint, when things started to get bogged down a little bit, I started to see Julius Randle moving off the ball a little bit more. And I started seeing RJ Barrett even cutting. And people you guys got to start to figure out, if Brunson's cooking, if he sees you cutting, he's going to give it up the ball. So you just got to cut. Because I feel like every time someone's cuts off of a Brunson ISO something good happens. We just have to keep that in mind. Yeah. And Ryan, what did you see, man? What did you see today? Why do you think we won this game?
Well, it was overall good effort by the team. There were only a few parts of the game where I really have to complain about, like the third quarter, maybe the first half of the third quarter going to 3/4 to the third quarter. I thought the team played a bit too much isolation and dribbled too much and stopped moving the ball, which allowed the Bulls to get back into the game. That was one issue I had with the game. Another issue I had with the game was, even though Quickly has been playing well lately, that bonehead.
Yeah, the 3.
The bonehead shot he shot towards the end of the third quarter, try to get the 2-for-1 number one, and then he compounded that error by fouling. I think it was Kobe White on the 3-point shot. So that was another issue I had with the game. And then the other issue I had was, even though I understand Julius Randle's been playing well lately, you have to realize that you have to go to your clutch guy in that situation. I understand Julius Randle's been balling, but the clutch guy in your team is Brunson. I feel like Brunson should have had the ball for that last shot in the fourth quarter instead of Julius Randle. But besides that, well-played game by the Knicks. It's hard to stop Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. They did kind of go off, especially DeMar. But, I thought overall the guys played good defense. Offensively, they were pretty much near as perfect as you can, expect from the Knicks. Julius Randle, I loved how he took on the mismatch, like Lee mentioned, how he took on the mismatch in the paint.
Yeah.
Draw defenders and then pass it out to open 3-point shooters, which I loved a lot. And then Grimes, those open clutch threes that he hit in the overtime period. And Brunson with the icing on the cake when he dropped Caruso and hit that three in the corner. I mean, it was a very exciting game tonight. Knicks have sole possession of 6. I'm happy. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm happy.
Very, very, very happy for my son Grimes, yo. Very happy. Came in the clutch. He has been shooting horribly from 3, but I still believe in the shot. I still believe in the shot from Grimes, for real. I absolutely do. You know what I love about this win? This is a composure win. This is a win where Julius Randle just blew a gasket the game before. The whistle wasn't going our way in the fourth quarter. I feel like there was a lot of foul calls. I don't know how many foul shots did DeMar DeRozan take in general. It was crazy, the amount.
Yeah, it was like 16, 17. It was like somewhere around there.
He took 17 free throws and hit 16 of them. And I feel like 7 or 8 of them were in the fourth quarter. RJ Barrett did his best to defend him, but the refs and the whistle took him out. But we didn't complain. Even when Julius Randle was falling away and they overturned that foul when he was tripped at the foul line, we still didn't complain. We still held it together. We played defense. We played through it. And this is like the benefit. This is the benefit of having another playmaker in Jalen Brunson here. You know? Because before when it was Julius Randle or bust, that fourth quarter, especially the last 3 minutes, he always seemed a little bit out of sorts when the usage was getting a little bit too high. And that's when you can just go to Jalen Brunson and say, finish the game off. And he did exactly that. And now on top of that, we have Grimes as a clutch 3-point shooter here who can give you the icing on, take and hit those, which for you is this starting five seems like it's found something. It seems like it's really started to find something. And I think I really like this game too because of RJ Barrett. He seems like he's been missing from this stretch of like, oh, we need this guy. He showed up a few times, but I feel like today he really showed up with percentages and especially with the defense. Like the block he had in what was the third or fourth quarter when he pins DeRozan's shot to the board and it caused the fast break.
It does a fourth quarter.
Yeah, fourth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's really starting to hit with me. The guys who don't play defense in Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, even though it's still not perfect, they're starting to turn it up, and it's helping us. It's helping us take the next step as a team. Very, very good win. Very good team win, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited. 5-game winning streak for these New York Knicks.
I think it really goes to show the conversation we were having like 2 months ago about who should start, Grimes versus Cam. Grimes has become the glue in that starting lineup. He's just a seamless fit with those guys. His ability to space the floor and his ability to switch and guard 1 through 4. He can guard the really athletic lean 4s. He can guard the bigger post up 1s and 2s. Like he adds a lot of defensive versatility out there on the floor. And man, when his shot's on, it makes the starting 5 and the bench, no matter how Tibbs is rotating guys out, we always have a really solid 2 to 3 great defenders on the floor. And that helps too with that shortened rotation. God did Tibbs' flowers. Dude has done some really great adjustments these last 2 weeks to turn the season around in a small sample size. I'll do him props.
I think this is what's making me happy about these wins too. When you look at who's playing, you know, Mitchell Robinson we drafted, RJ Barrett we drafted, Quentin Grimes we drafted, Emmanuel Quickly we drafted, Miles McBride we drafted, Jericho Sims we drafted. How many people? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We like almost half our team is drafted through the New York Knicks. They are getting playing time. And although like not all of them are like the star players, they are like important to this team. And shout out to Miles McBride. Very nitpicky complaint from me. There was a portion when Miles McBride played some defense. hit 2 threes in a row. And I'm like, let's go. That's all we need from McBride, right? McBride has been the demon on defense, but we just need him to get going offensively. He hits 2 threes in a row. Then it has a turnover from like a Fugazi whistle from the ref. And then Tibbs takes him out. I wish he would have been left in a little bit longer, but that's really nitpicky for me. All right. And also Hartenstein too. He still has these.
Let's talk about Jay Ellis.
He was getting cooked.
Cooked by a player who might also be cooked. Vucevic did not in the second half. And I really, that's the one substitution I wish Tibbs would change. Get Hartenstein's bum ass out. Put Jericho Sims in that spot as a first big off the bench at the center position. I'm Sims over Hartenstein all day at this point. The dude just has a much better energy. He's much more athletic. He's our one big who can switch, legitimately guard the perimeter. And that's a really huge plus in today's modern defense. We need to have Sims out there above Hartenstein.
Yeah, absolutely. The funny thing is, I agree with you. This is when the politics are coming into play. You know, we paid Evan Fournier, even though there was other wing defenders who were better than him. We had to play him because it was his first year. I guarantee you, Hartenstein is still here next year. Sims is playing over him. Guarantee you. I'm not even, because he has to go through this politics year. Oh, we tried because we paid him, but nah. When it's one-on-one, bigs always cook them. And weird elephant in the room, though.
He's not a bad player, though. He's not a bad player. Yeah.
Weird elephant in the room. If you want to get serious, I don't want to get serious now because I'm still happy we won. If you want to get serious, weird elephant in the room. Sims and Hartenstein has played pretty well together, weirdly, on the defensive end.
Yeah, that is true. And I think to what Lee said too, I think Thibs kind of got that hint because I think in the fourth quarter, I think he was bringing back in Randle. The first big he brought up, the first big he took out was Hartenstein and kept Sims out there to play with Randle and the rest of the unit. So I think even Thibs was like, yeah, Hartenstein's getting cooked out there. Let me take this guy out and put Randle back in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Tibbs. Thank you, Tibbs, for making that adjustment. And this is the thing about Tibbs. Offensively, there's still going to be certain things that he's limited by. That shout out to Eric who even mentioned this. If you're going to force switches, you can't force a switch to bad defenders. You got to force switches to good defenders in Caruso. You got to switch off to bad defenders like DeMar DeRozan or some of those guys. That's not what happened. We had an ISO Randle movement in the last seconds of the game. Very weird call from Thibodeau, especially because he's been calling pretty good out of timeout plays all year. So that was very peculiar for him to have that type of call. But
there was also a stretch there in the second half for like 7 minutes where they just ran like the same 4 plays over and over and over again. And it worked. The Knicks actually built a lead on that too, because it didn't matter who ended up switching on Randle. They couldn't stop him. There's no one on that Bulls roster that can stop Randle.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to hold you, Lee. Most rosters, a lot of people on most rosters that can't stop Randle one-on-one.
Sure. I agree.
That just is what it is. But salute to the chat. I'm going to give you a shout out. If you want to call in, you already know what to do. Dial that number, 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. We're going to get a little bit into some Knick news. You know, we still know that Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish is on the trading block. But there was also some breaking news that happened a little bit earlier. The Knicks were looking to trade for a Rockets player but didn't come to fruition, Eric Gordon. Knicks attempted to trade for Eric Gordon in December. It didn't happen. But we're going to also talk about that. And I already know Lee is here, so I already know what Lee wants to talk about. Lee wants to talk about the evolution of Randle. And I already know we can get to that too. But if you want to talk, you already know what it is. Call that number 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. 6241.
Speaking of people calling in, I hope Ken calls in, man. His article was really solid on the knickoftimeshow.com. Actually, need to check that article out. Ken wrote a really nice, long, in-depth piece on why the Knicks need to move on from Julius Randle. And hey, the dude had a great night tonight. This is not a bash Julius Randle night, but I do hope Ken calls in so us as a Knicks family can have a table conversation about it.
Absolutely. Unless is Ken in bed right now? Because I know he got family too. So I don't know if he fell asleep during overtime.
Shout out Ken, man. He's a good writer.
No, Ken is a really good writer. That's why we got him on here on the team, and he's like the editor for the KOT show. So shout out to Ken.
He did a great job. Shout out Ken.
Really good job. Really hard worker as well. All right. So you know what? Let's get to it. I want to wait for Ken. You know what? Let's get into the Knicks news first. I already know Evan Fournier. The Knicks are looking to move on from Evan Fournier. I know you heard that news. They looking to trade Evan Fournier for Kendrick Nunn. And they're also looking to move on from Evan Fournier and bringing in Patrick Beverley. But of course, the Lakers don't want to take on Evan Fournier. I think the Lakers actually want to be under the cap next year so they can sign people. Evan Fournier's contract still goes into next season, and then the team can terminate it after next season. So because of that, the Lakers are looking for extra compensation from the Knicks. They probably are looking for us to give them a pick. The Knicks absolutely are not interested in doing that. But at this point, they are probably willing to move on from Cam Reddish, but I'm not sure if that will actually be enough to make a deal get done. So I don't know, Lee, what are your thoughts on the Knicks moving on from Evan Fournier and bringing in Cam Reddish? I mean, bringing in Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn.
I've hated, like, with a passion, every single trade proposal I've seen the last week. I think they're all trash. They're all an undersell on the value and worth of guys like Cam Reddish and even Evan Fournier. Like, there's no reason why we should need to attach a pick to Evan Fournier if Reddish is also packaged with Evan Fournier. And especially if we're getting back players like Kendrick Nunn, whose value is like on the same level as Evan Fournier. Like, these are not guys that the rest of the NBA rosters are clamoring to get, especially after the season that both him and Patrick Beverley have had with the Lakers. Even when the Lakers turned things around, neither of those two players were a part of that momentum shift. So Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverley, neither move a needle for me. I'm happy getting rid of Reddish. Would like to move off of Evan Fournier's contract, but at this point, don't absorb bad salary or bad players. Just get off of a player that you can just bench. And probably by mid-season before the trade deadline, one team will come calling and probably trade for Fournier, a contender looking for extra shooting, without us having to attach a pick or get bad contracts in return. So I say stay patient. I know Leon likes to make those moves 2 months, 2.5 months before the deadline, like he does every season since he's been at Zach. But just stay patient and wait till the right team comes calling. Because, man, Kendrick Nunn, Pat Bev, I don't want Miles and Bride's minute speed eaten up by Pat Bev. I'm not into it.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, Raw was talking about they could both be cut, so I can definitely see that happening. Maybe not both. I don't know if you're gonna cut Patrick Beverley, but maybe we'll flip him to the Timberwolves for a second or something. I definitely don't want to see Miles McBride minutes get cut, even though both of those guys are dogs on the defensive end. I like that we're playing our young guys and they're getting into the fold. I want to keep it moving in that direction. And as far as Cam Reddish, I don't know, man. I think the Knicks really just wanted to see if they can, because they didn't like what Kevin Knox brought to the table. I think they was like, let's give it one more year. I feel like it was looking at Cam Reddish like rehabbing a house, like buying a house that's all dilapidated and messed up. Let's see if we can bring it here, dust it all, put some paint on it, and then sell it for a higher value. And I don't think it worked. So, because I'm starting to think the way our cap is set up, and we have to pay this player and that player and that player in a couple of years. They were probably thinking he might not have been in the plans long term. It might have just been a flip situation for Cam Reddish. I said I'm starting to think was really the thing. So, and it didn't work. The value for him right now seems to be 2 second-round picks. They're probably looking for a first. Ryan, you have anything to add?
Yeah. Well, like the video I posted, on the Knick Of Time Show YouTube page earlier. So I'm just gonna reiterate on those thoughts. So basically, bringing in Patrick and Beverly, Kendrick Nunn. Of course, that trade makes no sense for the Knicks from a roster standpoint, because the way the Knicks roster is at the moment, you already have a lot of small guards on the roster. You have McBride, you have IQ, you have Rose, you have Brunson, right? That's 4 point guards within a rotation right there. So bringing in Nunn and bringing in Beverly, those are 2 more point guards. You have 6 on the roster. It doesn't make sense from a roster standpoint. So I think the only reason the Knicks would even talk or even consider a trade is to just remove Evan Fournier's contract, because Kendrick Nunn's on the last year of his contract, Patrick Beverly's on the last year of his contract, and possibly what you can do is when they come on the roster, you could possibly cut them, waive them, and have them choose, have them go to whatever team they want to go to and have them play for them, or you could possibly flip them again. But again, like I really don't want to, it would be nice to get rid of Evan Fournier's contract, but I actually want something of value in return if possible for Evan Fournier. I don't want to, to me, it just doesn't make sense from a roster standpoint. I don't know if I want to bring in players just to cut them and just to give Evan Fournier's contract. I don't know if I just want to do that, but yeah. And like Lee said, there's a whole bunch of trade rumors out there. All of them are pretty much trash. None of them pretty much make sense for the Knicks. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that, really.
Listen, we're not going to get any value for all those vets that we signed. Like the Knicks really signed these guys on low value deals, on low deals, so they can move them. They tried their best. Shoot, Evan Fournier had to fight for that 3rd year. If because the Knicks offered him a year, 2, I think, and he had to fight for that one. So if he didn't fight for that one, he would have been gone already. Trust and believe. But yeah, I can't see us getting some big return from Evan Fournier at this point. I'm just glad that the Knicks have come out and said, or at least the rumors have come out and said that we're not attaching any picks. That would be a catastrophe. But let's talk about something else. The fact the Knicks are looking to trade for Eric Gordon. Things that make you go, It's interesting because when I think about people the Knicks tried to trade for, I think they trying to go young. They're trying to go for wings, guys who can score, guys who can shoot the 3, right? We're 30th in 3-point shooting. That's what I feel like we're going for. Now I get it. Eric Gordon is an expiring contract, so I get that. And he kind of fits what we're looking for in 3-point shooter, but I'm still confused about what did we expect to trade for Eric Gordon? Was he going to try to flip, was it Evan Fournier and Cam for Eric Gordon? Was that going to be the play?
I don't know, but Eric Gordon's contract's not expiring though. He's a free agent in 2024, so the Knicks would have him for 1 more year.
Oh, the Knicks would have him for 1 more year. That makes it even more, bruh.
Super sus.
The Knicks are really trying to make a playoff push, man.
It just shows, I think, how disconnected the front office is to the coaching staff and to the fan base. I feel that there's 3 very distinct perspectives that are not aligned, and the fan base seems to be catering to Tibbs' desire to have more vets who, granted, are clutch. Right? Eric Gordon is a nice 4th quarter player. He's had some great moments in the playoffs, and he was probably just as clutch and at times more clutch than James Harden was on that Rockets team. Just Harden was always fumbling the bag in the 4th quarter and overtime for playoff games. Eric Gordon was for long stretches before CP3 came the most clutch player on that team. So he would add a variable of that, but it's going to eat up Grimes minutes. It's going to eat up McBride minutes. I really see those minutes instead of the young guys, not really the player of it. I don't want to send out, but I do want to give a shout out, man. I think Ryan did a good job hopping on that trade rumor news. And that video almost had 1K views and a lot of engagement. That's a great type of content that Jay Ellis is pushing on his channel. And shout out Ryan for hopping on there and doing that video.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. If you see a rumor, you want to hop on and do a video, you already know what it is, man. You can do it. Okay.
Are you saying I can do a Jay Randle video every day?
No, we can't do the same Randle. You can do a Randle video if you want to. If you want to Randle and do a video, you can do it. I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't do that to y'all. That's torture.
Those comments
be okay, OT. I'll just do another video right afterwards.
Censor me, bro.
It's okay, OT. I'm not gonna censor you. I'll post it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Ken wrote a video about read an article about trading Randle. I'm not censoring Ken. Everybody has a right to their opinion here.
By the way, Ken is on the line.
Yes, you might as well bring him on and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna bring him on and talk about it. Before we get into Ken, I'm looking at his contract. Eric Gordon, and you're right, Ryan, expires in 2024, but it's a team option.
Oh, there's a team option attached to it?
Yeah, it's a team option in 2024. So he's pretty much an expiring contract.
I would trade Fournier for him.
Which makes sense why the Knicks would do it. So they're probably trying to give them Fournier and Cam Reddish and take back Eric Gordon. Because they figured, the Rockets team is aiming young. Maybe we'll have some use for Cam Reddish over there who has like a lot of young core running over there.
I would do that.
That's probably what they were thinking. And then at the same time, Eric Gordon gives you a punch who's proven in the playoffs, and the Knicks are trying to make a little playoff push. If it doesn't work, they can just cut him. I think that's what they were thinking. All right. But let's get to it. You know what? Should I take Ken first? All right, you know what, Ken? Come true, Ken. Come true.
Mr. J. Ellis, what's up?
What's going on, Ken?
What's going on?
Ken.
What's going on, Ryan G. Lee? You guys are doing a great job, man. Hey, thanks for having me on. Just really quick regarding the game. I'm happy, the Knicks are winning. The competition lately hasn't been good, but, they're playing well. I like the kind of defense, and I'm really encouraged with the young players. Like I mentioned before, like Quickly's evolution to being a guy who actually feels comfortable driving to the basket.
Yes.
Is very encouraging. And then, Grimes is coming around. And I think, I'm also encouraged because, we did struggle the first part of the year, but we're last in 3-point shooting. And if you really look at the numbers, ironically, the two guys who are kind of right around their averages, which are the two power forwards, Toppin and Julius, but everyone else is shooting below, their expected average. So you saw, Barrett's going to get up to over 30%. He's shooting 28% or something, almost 29%. Same thing with Quickly. Grimes wasn't shooting well. So, they're due. So I think that's very encouraging that we're close to 500 and we've been horrible. We're not, worst 3-point shooting team. We're not one of the best ones, but I think we're closer to the 20s and 30s. So I think law averages is going to come around, and then we're going to start winning some more games simply because we're going to hit more threes, and our defense is getting better. The other thing regarding Randle, I just want to make it clear, Randle is a good player. He played well tonight. And what I've seen of Randle lately, I see some growth, maturity. I think he definitely is growing as a player. Everyone keeps talking about, COVID, Randle, COVID. That year was an anomaly. We can talk, we need to talk about that. It was just unusual. There was no fans in the stands. The dude was also on a contract year, so he was playing for his life. But this year, I see he's playing to generally just be a better player. But to me, there's a feeling on Randle. He's not a star, and that's not a knock on him. There's not that many. To me, he's ideally suited to be the third option at best on a team. And I think you saw that tonight. He was a beast for 3 quarters, but at the end of the game, he can't make plays, and he just doesn't have, that basketball IQ, the processing speed to make better decisions. I mean, those 2 shots by Grimes. I mean, if that was LeBron James, those would be easy, wide open shots. He almost turned it over twice. And So I think, like I said, Randle is a very good player, but the thing is also he wants to be a star. And you see, like, him getting the ball at the top of the key to initiate offense and all this ice. I know we mentioned it before, but it's just like, dude, your game is near the basket. And
Yeah, that's the coach, man.
You can't be leading the team. Exactly.
That's the
like,
coaching.
That's what I told you. You need to be close to the basket. And listen, he's averaging. He leads the team in 3-point attempts, 7 a game. That is insane. Like his COVID year when he shot 41%, he was only averaging 5.5. I was like, how the hell are you shooting? Almost 2 more 3-point shots a game. Your average is worse. And then the other thing is, like, if you look at like another player that's comparable, obviously they're not exact same template of player, but like Zion Williamson, he was a decent 3-point shooter. He's averaging less than 1 3-point attempt a game.
Yeah.
And obviously, Randle's shooting 7. So to me, like, Randle needs to be kind of where Brunson is, which is about 4 a game. Because there was one in the game where he thought he was like Melo isoing, stepping back, and shooting a contested.
Yeah, it's
three.
too
Like,
much. No. It's too much.
So it's too much. So I know, like, there's a little controversy because I know Ryan G's really, happy the way Randle's playing, and I am too. I think
Is jealous.
He's doing what he needs to do because this competition. Like, let's say, but if you look at the competition, right? Like the last 3 or 4 games, he hasn't gone against really good players. When they played the Hawks, they pretty much started 2 rookies at the forward position. Those 2 kids were in high school when Randle had his breakout year.
So just to give you some context, hold on, Ken. Let me pause you because you going. So just to get right some context, who's listening? We talking about Julius Randle. There are people here who believe that he should still be moved because his value is high. It's time to move him at this point, right? And there's people who are against it. So I know Ryan and myself, we were on the move Randle thing, but now we're kind of like, wait a minute, maybe we should pause and think about this, and figure out where direction we really should go. Ken and of course Lee are on the move Randle thing. So, and your argument really is he's not a first option, he's a third option, and he doesn't have the basketball IQ to carry a team. Correct?
Right, and the other point I want to make, okay, I'm sorry, I went on a little bit long, was that he's not the ideal complement to Brunson and RJ. Like, their skill sets redundant. So all 3 of them are lefties. All of them need the ball, and none of them are elite outside shooters. So in terms of pairing, like he wasn't a good fit with RJ, and now with Brunson, it's a tougher fit. So. And the last thing I just want to mention is, what does is Randle going to settle to being the third option on a team if they are able to bring in a star? That's the other question. So that's my point on why I think we should take advantage of trading Randle now that his value has been rehabilitated.
Okay, and here's what I'll say. Right, here's what I'll say. The elephant in the room to me is what you mentioned, right? We have 3 players here in RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle who all operate in the same place, in the same space. So far, we've had some success right now. But to get to the next level, one of those guys are going to have to operate out that space. So I do get that. On the flip side of that, to me, Randle isn't the biggest problem right now. Right now, if you're saying that all these guys have the same skill set, right, and operate in the same space, who's operating in the same space the best right now? The people who are operating in that same space the best right now are Brunson and Randle. What are we missing? We're missing elite wings. So for me,
right, but you can't move. Yeah.
For me. Like, if RJ has more games like today, where he's playing defense, hitting threes, then it's a go. And especially if he starts to develop like some kind of killer instinct, you know what I mean? But like for me, when you're looking at, all right, playoff time when you're playing off mismatches, then like how many people in the league can guard Randle? My thing with moving Randle was defensively, he's been a liability for the most part, right? And then it's the attitude, and then it's the basketball IQ. So, but now if the basketball IQ is moving up and the defense is getting better, I'm okay with him being a third option and bullying most of the league and having Jalen Brunson finish games. And if we actually get a wing who can really do his thing here, who can shoot threes and play defense, next to Grimes, who can also shoot threes and plays defense, to me, that makes the most sense. Unless RJ Barrett becomes that guy who can shoot threes and play defense.
Right. No, that's a great point. Because to me, when I think of the guy the Knicks need, it's a better version of Cam Reddish, right? A polished version of Cam Reddish, an explosive long wings, and hit threes.
That would be ideal.
Now, here's two things. There's two things, right? One is we can't trade RJ this year, right? Because he's got the poison pill, so he's untradeable. And to your point, I am getting fed up with RJ because, you know, you got to call out. And I think it's since he's young, he's been getting some slack. But this is year 4, and he still does some stuff that's like, you know, Randle does things that frustrate me. And I see RJ does the same thing with some of his shot selection. So I'm with you on that. So, but my point is you got to move one of the two. But the other elephant in the room that no one's talking about is, like, well, a couple of things. One is Randle's not elite at anything. He's good, but he's not elite. And you saw we won today because the two guys who are elite at a certain skill set, Brunson getting to the basket, and Mitchell Robinson, offensive rebounding, getting us those second opportunities, and his defense kept us in the game when we were giving it away. But the other thing is Obi Toppin. We drafted this kid to replace Randle, and now if we don't get some value out of this kid, that's 3 out of the last 4 lottery picks we missed on. And everyone's talking, oh, Donovan Mitchell. We could have drafted Mitchell. We could have drafted SGA. And then Tyrese Halliburton. Now, unfortunately, it's looking like, you know, we made the wrong decision at the time. The logic made sense. You get Obi, and then you get quickly with the next pick. That takes care of the guard position, and then you move on from Randle. But then, you know, Randle had that career year. They extended him, and here we are. So the thing is also, what do you do with Toppin? Because to me, if you move Randle and you get some sort of value, right, and you slide in Toppin, you get Toppin an extension. It's going to cost you less than half of what you pay Randle, and he's actually a better fit offensively. Now, granted, his defense needs to improve, but offensively he's a better fit with the other players. So that's just my point. You know, like I said, I'm not into trading, just giving away good players, and Randle's got better. But I think if the Knicks want to get to where they wanted to be a contender, to your point, you know, either RJ or Randle's got to go. I just don't see this continuing. So that's all I got on that.
I understand.
But you made some great counterpoints, and I totally get where you're coming from, and I agree.
I understand the Obi point too. Thanks for calling in, Ken.
Great job, Ken.
With thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you. Even with the he doesn't do anything elite thing. Like, we just need him to dominate his matchups. He doesn't have to if he's so big, he can cause double teams and he can make easy shots and give Brunson plays off. That's all I really need. If you're a third option, that's all you need to do. You don't need to be an all-star to be a third option. That's all I'm really trying to say. Go ahead. I don't know, Ryan or Lee. I know you've been waiting patiently.
I would love to respond to what Ken said, because I agree with the basis of his argument. I read his article actually multiple times today to really synthesize what the crux of his argument was, and I think I agree with it pretty much in whole. Now, Julius Randle is our best player, and I think in theory should also offer us the best return if he's traded. And there were moments early in the season where I would have traded him for Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder and no picks. I mean, at this point, he's revitalized his trade return much higher than that. In fact, at this point, I wouldn't trade him for more than 2 first round picks at this point, at this juncture right now, because I think it's been enough of a sample size to determine that he's turned around, not just because of his game, but his effort on the defensive side of the ball, which accounts for a lot.
Facts.
The reason I think we should trade him is if we don't, then RJ Barrett must go. And I agree that RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are not a great fit on the court. I disagree that Brunson and Randle are not a great fit. I think actually those two have developed a pretty solid chemistry and play a good two-man game.
Yeah.
It's Randle and RJ that really have more of an overlapping game. They really have almost the same points on the floor, offensively and defensively, where they thrive at their highest. And that overlap is where a lot of our issues come from. If Thibs was a little bit more creative to move Randle as a small ball 5, I would have no problem keeping him on this roster. But it's his inability to play Randle, and I think Randle would be open to it, to play Randle as a small ball 5. Then you can start Obi. Then you can actually have a better spacing around RJ and Brunson as a backcourt, and you would have some different things to play with in terms of variables. But because he always has to be paired next to a rim protector, it makes the spacing really inefficient and awkward. So that's where I'm like, oh, well, we should trade him for 2 picks and maybe some solid cap relief or young players. But I'm not going to trade him for a bag of garbage. I'm okay with holding on to Randle till next season when his stock's even higher and we get a great return. Or we end up with a Zach LaVine type player that Ken alluded to, who is a polished Cam Reddish. We just someone like that or even better, and we can pair him as that missing third piece. Say RJ's gone that trade. Then you might have an East Conference Finals team. I don't think it's a championship team, but it's pretty damn good. So I'm okay with being patient on Randle. I'm not like trading him right this second. There are moments I have been, and I might be back to that depending on how his play is consistent-wise. But right now, I think he's done a really great job. I'm not going to say trade him or call him a bum when he's playing his ass off. I think that's ridiculous and counterproductive. So let's just wait until the right package is there. But there isn't some bad overlap between him and RJ, and I'm happy trading him.
And the Toppin thing, Toppin has to step up defensively, man. Like he has to, man. Listen, I feel like he started off okay and then slowly started going downhill. And it started with the Kevin Love game. Kevin Love went up for 3, then it started going back downhill again a little bit for me. So to me, that's the biggest thing. I feel like Toppin can still be a good player. I still have questions about, him isoing and playing double teams and giving Brunson plays off. So I think that will go away if Randle was there. But that would mean somebody else, that wing player, would have to command double teams and be able to create, if that's the move we're going anyway. And I need to see more from Toppin. I need to see a lot more from Toppin. And I know it's not Toppin's fault entirely, but because he's being used wrong, we talked about this to death, but I need to see more from Toppin, and especially from the defensive end. I'm sorry, Ryan. I know you got a lot to say. You've been quiet for a long time, so it's your time to go off.
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to clarify my argument, because where I'm coming from, it's not like I'm saying trading Julius Randle is not the answer. It's not like I'm saying keeping Julius Randle is the answer. What I'm trying to say is I try to look at, what's in front of me, and then I try to process my information based on that. Now, based on what Ken said, I agree. Julius Randle is not a star player. But based on what I've seen, I don't think COVID Randle was a fluke, because I see COVID Randle coming back this season. So it's that's leading me to believe that maybe last season was the fluke, and maybe Julius Randle entering his prime, that is the player that he truly is. So now I know last season, based on the information that we got, we were like, Julius Randle needs to be traded because him being on the team was toxic at that time. He had a bad attitude, wasn't showing effort on defense, was playing isolation heavy, wasn't feeding the ball to other players, and his play was just not good for the team. Now, coming into this season, I'm seeing that he has improved. It seems like he got his mind clear. It seems like he's back to finding teammates when he has the ball and double teams come towards him. Now he's passing the ball, diming it, hitting open players for open threes or whatever the case may be. I'm seeing I'm actually seeing leadership qualities come back with Julius Randle, with him talking to his teammates and being a good teammate this year. So now I'm like, based on that information that I'm seeing so far this season, that's what's making me take a step back and make me think, okay, is trading Julius Randle really the right thing to do if this is the Julius Randle that we're going to get, the way he's playing so far this season? So all I'm saying is that you have to look at different perspectives. You know, like maybe the answer might be, okay, we have, because I do agree, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, I think they do play well together. And I do agree that Julius Randle and RJ is probably the two where it is redundant skill sets, and more than likely, if the team is going to reach its potential, probably Randle or RJ has to go. And at the moment, even though I love RJ, Randle is that better player. So it's like, and what I was trying to say is that there's really no evidence of Randle being on a team with two high caliber players. Probably the closest we've gotten to that is New Orleans. And even when he was in New Orleans with Anthony Davis, that wasn't the same Julius Randle that's here today. It's a completely different Julius Randle. So you can't even look at that and be like, use it as evidence of him being with a superstar player. So my whole thing is, how do we know the outcome if we actually keep him and bring in an all-star player, like you guys have been saying, an all-star wing that can actually shoot and play defense? And how do you know that that's not going to be successful? That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I'm just trying to bring like different like perspectives and not just be stuck on, yeah, Julius Randle gotta go, or yeah, Julius Randle gotta stay. Because I mean, to be honest about it, if we do trade Julius Randle and it's a good return, I'm not gonna complain about that, as long as it's a good return. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure if that is the answer, trading Julius Randle for the Knicks to get to where they want to get to. So
yeah, like,
that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm seeing Julius Randle for Jay Crowder and like Darkchick in a Suns pick. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Sorry,
not at all. No.
I'm not doing it. And I guess this is what I'm saying too, is like, yo, last year he was horrible. Last year he was supposed to have help. We got Kemba Walker here. He was supposed to be the answer. He was supposed to be the guy to spell him and give him some help, and that didn't happen. And I think that's a lot of reason why we saw what we saw last year. That, and plus the coach not holding him accountable on defensive end. For some reason, the coach is pushing defense on him this year, and we're seeing a lot more of effort over the last 6 games or so. Maybe it's partially the coach, maybe it's partially insertion of Grimes mixed with Mitchell Robinson, but we're seeing more of what we really want to see the whole time. In general, I want to see the starting 5 cook. So this starting 5 we've seen play 12 games now. So I want to see, okay, this was the original vision. What can the original vision do with this coach, and how are we going to evolve from there? And like I said, I still feel like at some point we're going to have to move away from Tom Thibodeau because of his weird offensive, his weird offensive schemes, not scheming, like the ISO play at the end, like stuff like that. But you know, he's done a pretty decent job this year, man. I can't he just has. Okay, cool. And if you guys don't have a rebuttal, I'll go to the phones.
Go to the phones.
Let's go. Stan. I got Stan, my man. So get ready, guys. I don't know what to expect when Stan calls in. Shout out to my guy Stan Novak. He's on the line and wants to talk. Stan, let me know what you're thinking about this 5-game winning streak from the Knicks and whatever else is on your mind, Stan. Hold on, sorry. Hold on a second. Sorry, start again.
Okay, listen. I want you to listen to me. I am sitting here worried about my business, which is in trouble, and this sucks less, so I call you guys.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, you're talking about trading Julius Randle. What are you going to get? What kind of fakakta mashugana deal is that? You're going to get bupkis for the guy. Nothing. You're not going to get nothing for the guy. Get
What are you, gravy? Now the guy, maybe he'd be an all-star. If not, okay, you ship him out. Give him a falafel, let him go. Now, as far as Obadiah Toppin taking his place. First of all, Obadiah Toppin, doesn't that sound like, I don't know, Amish Cool Whip? Hey, Ezekiel, don't be stingy with that Obadiah Toppin on top of my rhubarb pie. I've been outside staring at a horse's ass all morning long. And then after I got working with your mother, I went and plowed 2 acres. So you just lumped that Obadiah Toppin right on top of that rhbarb pie.
Wheel it in, Stan. Wheel it in, Stan.
I'm sorry. We just had to.
Wheel it in, Stan.
Yeah, how you guys doing, by the way? Oh, I see you guys are out of the fog. You got your lighting right. Good idea. But no, I did enjoy tonight's game, in all seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching on YouTube. I was watching somebody break down the Knicks defense. They did it was 28 minutes, and
I saw
behind Cam Reddish, the guy most lost
Obi Toppin
in the defense.
Yep.
Yeah, Obi.
Mm-hmm.
So he's. I mean, he needs another year of. He needs another year cooking before he's done and he can play. And that's all I'm going to say. Let you guys comment. And as always, I'm going to go back and start drinking heavily. Have a great. Have a great.
All right, Stan. Have a great day, Stan. Stan.
I will.
Stan. If you haven't seen, there's a video going around, and I retweeted it on Twitter. Really, really excellent video. Probably it's the best defensive breakdown video I've ever seen on the Knicks, ever. And it talks about where the Knicks falter on the defensive end. It talks about the biggest culprits on the defensive end, and it breaks down, why it's happening. It breaks down. It kind of tells you too, is like the team that runs similar action to the Knicks is the Miami Heat, and how they run it compared to the Knicks. And then they also talk about how pretty much Obadiah, Cam, and Randle were the biggest culprits in the defense, along with our transition defense being so horrible. And it also talks about how Randle, RJ, and Brunson have gotten better over the 6 games, and that's a lot of reason why we're winning more recently. So really good video. I wish I can remember the name of the guy
I got
who
it.
posted it.
I got it. It's Half Court Hoops.
Half Court Hoops. So shout out to Half Court Hoops. Amazing video. Really amazing video. Really good breakdown. Like I think I would love to have that guy on the show, honestly.
Tweet him. Yeah, I've seen some other content creators in his mentions asking him on the show. I'm sure he would come on ours.
Absolutely. So I'll definitely reach out. I'll reach out to him for sure one day. It would be cool if I had some video stuff on here to accompany that. I just know that gets a little bit tricky with the copyright stuff. But shout out. Yeah. All in all, good win. I know he said, who do we have up next? I know Fritz. Fritz, you want to come up next and talk?
Yeah, Fritz.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, Fritz?
What's up, Lee? What's up, man?
Hey, man.
What's going on? Yeah, I just wanted to. I think the Knicks is still in talent acquisition mode. I know we're talking about Julius Randle, shipping them out, but I think you're starting to hear a lot of Lakers rumors because it's a stepping stone to either a Julius Randle trade or to a star trade. I'm with Lee, no less than 2 picks for Randle. But I think the Lakers is a step in the right direction. I think a lot of people are looking at a trade for Fournier, for the point. Who is it? Point guard for Nunn and who was the other person?
Pat Bev.
Beverly.
Beverly, yeah, Beverly.
So like with that, yeah. So what the Knicks would do is they wouldn't get any picks on this, and what they would get picks on the second trade. So you wouldn't think that you could trade them again, but you can trade again if you trade 1-for-1. So Beverly is the guy you would want to flip again and then get picked off the second trade. So I think Knicks want to trade, don't get any picks the first time, get Beverly back, and then flip them for a contender, then get a second there or 2 seconds there. And then, so they're picked there. Or if it's time to move, Julius, that would be time to move Julius. Because Dallas, Julius, if you set Julius and Beverly to Dallas, you could still do it as long as it's 1-for-1 player. So if you traded Beverly and Julius Randle to Dallas, you can get back Christian Wood, Dinwiddie, and probably 2 picks.
Hell no, I'm sorry.
And at this point, no, but I'm just saying Christian Wood is expiring. You sign him for half a year with Toppin. They both get 24 minutes a game. And then this summer, you go out and you draft the best power forward there is. With how many picks we have in our treasure chest. So, that's something they could think about doing. If Julian is playing out of his mind, then you don't pull the trigger. You just take Beverly and you flip them for somebody for a couple picks.
So you saying picks and Christian Wood and Dinwiddie for Julius Randle and Patrick Beverly?
Yeah. First, they make our this year's pick, permanent, and they give us 2 more.
All right. I hear you. I'm not feeling that, but thanks for calling in, Fritz. I appreciate you.
All right, sure, no problem.
All right.
I'm with you, Fritz. I agree. I love that trade.
You love the trade, Julius Randle and Patrick Beverly for Christian Wood and Dinwiddie?
Yeah. It's a matrix of trades for us to get there, but the gist of it, I understand. There's no way Dallas would get rid of Dinwiddie. He's too important as their secondary ball handler, especially after losing Brunson. So that's not going to happen. But Wood and a Maxey, or Wood and bring back Timmy or bring back Frank, some like smaller contract, that's possible. I mean, Mavs love Knicks players. So to definitely want to bring back Julius Randle home to Dallas. But see Woods on an expiring deal. He's an unrestricted free agent. I don't hate that trade. Turn that pick that we have into unprotected. I like the benefits, but I mean, that's like 3 steps to get there, but I'm on the same wavelength as Fritz and I'm into that trade.
I mean, I like Christian Wood as a player. I definitely would take Christian Wood if I was to make a trade with Dallas. If I'm going to trade Julius Randle over there, I definitely would take Christian Wood. I mean, the only thing is with Dinwiddie, I'm like, I would have to see because if we bring in Dinwiddie, so basically by that trade, we're gonna still have RJ, we're gonna still have Grimes, Brunson's gonna still be here. Like, unless Dinwiddie's gonna come off the bench as a 6th man, or we're gonna move.
I don't like that trade. I don't really like that trade. Like, what pick are we getting from the Dallas Mavericks that's gonna make that worthwhile? I don't like that trade at all.
I think if you remove the protections on that 2023 and then give us one more additional first-round pick for like 2027, if and when Luka's gone, then the draft capital could be pretty good. But it's so hypothetical. Wood is a terrible defender. There's not even a chance that he resigns. I think he would resign, but Randle's for how much?
Wood by
$1 million?
Mile.
Yeah. Randle is way better. Randle is better than all those guys like Jeremiah Grant, Christian Wood, Sabonis. He's better than all those guys on the same tier as him. He's probably the best big of that tier.
Right. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
Draft capital.
Absolutely. So it's like if he's better than everybody, then it's like if you're better than everybody and we're trading him, then I'm like, what picks are we getting? Because that to me, then that's the real incentive. If we're getting mad picks, then I'm like, what the heck? That doesn't make sense to me. I guess that's how I think about it. That's how I think. I'm trying to get these picks to get another star. So if I'm moving somebody who's been an all-team player to get like, you know, a 28th pick from Dallas, and like I don't know, it doesn't sound.
I think the pick would be better than 28, but that's another thing too. You're making Dallas better by giving them Randle, which hurts your pick this year too. So you're really banking on the future picks that Lucas on, and now you're drafting a lottery. That's really the crux of a deal, but that's a lot of what ifs.
Pickers Timmy said Raw mentioned Kristaps. Yeah, Raw's been mentioning Kristaps for a while now. As like, he's talking about Randle for Kristaps straight up.
Hell no.
Oh.
Kristaps can't even, I don't know. He's probably thinking this along the same lines of it's an expiring contract. Cause doesn't Kristaps have like a year or two left? He has 2 years left. But I think he has a player option, not a team option, if I'm going off of memory. But Kristaps is, man, that man always hurt, dog. Like,
I don't want him back.
I mean, KP, the Christian Wood trade, none of those trades really excite me like that. So I'm just like,
I agree.
I feel you on that one. Dynamic wing.
Yep, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, more so dynamic wing, yes.
Right. But whatever. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody that's watching. If you're loving the show so far, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are celebrating an overtime win to the Chicago Bulls, 5 wins in a row. So shout out to Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, my son, who hit dagger threes, who came in here into the Bulls territory and took that win, beat the refs, beat DeRozan, beat Vujacic, came in there and took care of business. And Jalen Brunson, the Knicks' latest signing, took over the game in the fourth quarter. Put my man on skate. Who did he put on skates? Hold on. I gotta show this. I gotta show this gif real quick. I gotta show the skates gif. Yo, who did he put on skates? When he put, hold on, that's the ooh pick, Ryan.
Caruso.
Put Caruso on skates. Well, he crossed him. Had Caruso falling. Hold on. Yo, y'all lucky my computer is not trying to.
And Caruso's a good defender too. So that was a good breaking up the ankle right there.
Yeah, the ankle breaker into the 3-point shot. Oh, you lucky. You guys lucky. You lucky my computer's being super slow right now. Whatever. Salute to you guys. Enjoy that win. When's the next game? We playing the Bulls on Friday?
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back. You already know it's really hard to beat teams back to back on Friday. So I feel like they're probably gonna make some adjustments. They might double Randle a little bit more. Who knows? But it's funny we beat them today. But I feel like there's still another gear for us to go. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we move the ball a bit more. We don't collapse in that third quarter with the turnovers. This game could have been gone a little bit further. The lead could have been bigger. We didn't even have to go into overtime. Now, granted, I think some of that was all set because Barrett hit some threes, and that's not usually what he does. But overall, even though we won, I think we could actually win another one, man. I think we could actually get to 6 in a row.
Yeah, I think so too.
Me too.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, well, I think we're all done. And so 6 in a row we coming for on Friday. All right. Let's get it. That is our show. Knicks by 2, says Deku Someone, Marshall, JT Reddick. That is our show. We can wrap it here, but shout out to the chat. Roy Rosado, El Marshall, Deeks Cool, Picks for Timmy. Shout out to Stan call in, DW Ice Rink. Everybody else is watching with the KOT, rocking with the KOT show. Salute to you guys. We're here after every game talking Knicks basketball. So come and rock with us, the KOT show. Hit that like button as well and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hopefully we're back Friday celebrating another Knicks win. All right. That is our show though. Ryan G, let them know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIRG is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner. You can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. And I just want to speak to the chat right quick. I see 50 likes and 76 of y'all watching. Those likes seem kind of light to me. Seems kind of light to me.
A little bit.
Add some more likes, man. Add some more likes if you like the show.
Like that show for us, man. Like it up, oh yeah. If not for the show, at least for this gift, all right? This is a reenactment of Alex Caruso Put on Skates by Jalen Brunson, right before Jalen Brunson hit that three, all right? If that doesn't help you hit the like button, I don't know what will. I'm sorry. Yeah, shout out to JT Reddit, who sends that $9.99 super chat. Says, you're 5 in a row. Shout out to my guy JT Reddit.
Yes, sir.
Boston Nick, man. Shout out to you, Boston Nick. Appreciate you.
Shout out Boston Nick.
All right, Lee, let them know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at _Lee Escobedo. I'm usually chopping up with Ryan and arguing with Jay Ellis on Twitter about all kinds of random Knicks affiliated things. But yeah, man, special shout out to the chat, man. There's been some good conversations been had in there. I appreciate all the new people, everyone chopping up and commenting and adding to the dialogue. I think we have a really great fan base, and that's all because of Jay Ellis. He's a man with a plan. He's building this up from the ground. I give a huge shout out for him for letting me on the show and just having this whole show going on for so many years and building such a great community, such a great place for us to all come together and talk about our favorite team.
Absolutely appreciate it. I love, and here's the thing too. It's funny because people's getting leave for a minute. I love different perspective, man. I don't invite people on this show to just echo the same thoughts that I have. Like, that's boring. If you want an echo chamber, then talk to yourself. Like that's
Oh man.
Hey, shout out Juliana too, our youngest viewer right now.
Shout out to Juliana, Juliana.
We see you.
But yeah, I like people who can bring a different perspective. And like I said before, like I've talked to Lee about basketball before it came to the KOT show. And I brought him on because of those conversations. Like, yo, Lee's a sharp dude. He knows Knicks history. He knows a lot. So, like, I appreciate Lee on the show. And then shout out to Lee and Ryan who bring a lot to this show. And also shout out to Raw, even though he's not here. He's still part of the show.
Let's go.
So,
all right.
Can't wait for the return of Raw.
Exactly.
The return of Raw.
The Raw Hebrew, Uncle Raw, man. Ooh, baby.
Big Uncle.
All right. All right, you already know what it is. You follow us at the Knick Of Time Show. If you go to knickoftimeshow.com, get those snapbacks in black and white, blue, and orange. So definitely get that. Follow us on Twitter at the KOT Show, and also on Instagram and Facebook at the Knick Of Time Show as well. Also, listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. All right.
Oh, super chat.
There it is. That is our show. Hey,
Got a super.
Yeah, Ellis, you got super chat.
Yeah. Super chat from Joshua. Shout out to my man Joshua, who sends a $9.99 super chat. No message. He just wanted to support. I appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you. Helps keeps the lights on because we got to pay for phones and SoundCloud subscriptions and all, and writing and all that stuff. So appreciate you. All right.
Let's go.
That is our show. We out of here. And you guys know the drill. As always,
Shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube and Twitter streets. That's our show. We out of here.
Peace.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.